Well, when they introduced the famous climb Willunga Hill, the first time we climbed it, we went up it 3 times. That was proving a bit much, but we finished on the flat. And I remember Alberto Contador making his comeback from his most serious accident, doing so well down in Willunga Hill. But once we started using that, it becoming the 5th stage of the race, the penultimate day, if you like, of the week of racing. This is where Simon Gerrans came into his own, and all of the climbers. It became, in effect, a stage race with a one-day result.
Yeah, I think the important thing about putting the finish at the top of Old Willunga Hill was it actually kept the suspense in the race. At the end, earlier on I have to say, Phil, it was too far from the finish and the sprinters could just about survive. They knew that if they lost 30 seconds over the top of Willunga Hill, they could catch up on the descent and they would make their tactics that way to survive. So it still ended up being a sprinters race. But once they started to put the finish at the top, it changed the whole face of the race. It kept the suspense of the Santos Tour Down Under right down to the penultimate day.
The climbers know, and Gerrans in particular, who's won this race a couple of times, he actually knew that he just had to excel on that climb. Why did he always do so well?
Well, he's the kind of guy, I mean, when you look at the kind of rider that Simon Gerrans is, it's that short, explosive climb that suits guys like him. You know, that's why he's good at races like Liège-Bastogne-Liège or the Amstel Gold Race. It's a short, sharp explosion.
As we now head up towards the line, the face to top sector, and Gerrans goes. Gerrans wants this, the first Australian victory of the week, and it comes on Australia Day. Simon Gerrans, last year's winner, grits his teeth as he comes off this bend. This is the corner.
Come on, Simon. Get under for Australia Day, mate. Slap that. Simon Gerrans.
Simon Gerrans gets it on the line.
It's going to be a tough race for Simon Gerrans to come and win again in 2015, because here's a rider who really did launch the Orica Green Edge team, the all-Australian team. They come here to the event, he gives them the perfect send-off, he wins the national title, he transfers to Adelaide and he wins the Santos Tour Down Under. But to come and do it again, what the effect will be for a 4th time, that's a big ask.
It's a very big ask. I mean, everybody knows Simon Gerrans wants to win this race. They realise how important it is for Orica Green Edge to win this race on home turf. But of course, everybody knows what the tactics of Orica Green Edge and Simon Gerrans are going to be. They know it's all about Willunga Hill, so teams will come with a different attitude. They'll look to try and force breakaways before they get down to Willunga Hill, so it isn't all about the climb. But then you've got other teams who've got great climbers too, who will try and make sure that the race is kept fairly close together for that big decider.
One thing over the years that has always been apparent is that the finish between the leaders overall is always close. Very rarely is this race won by more than a minute, and very often by seconds, and we've even had 2 riders locked in the same time. But isn't that the trend around the world now, Paul, with these stage races?
Yeah, I mean, if you look at the Grand Tours, especially Grand Tours where there are time bonuses available, riders will jump out of the gap to get themselves a 1 second or a 2 second time bonus, because it goes down nowadays to millimetres, to inches, to seconds. And I think that's really reflected at the Santos Tour Down Under. And for us as commentators, it's always exciting on the final day when guys are fighting out, maybe not the overall victory, but 2nd and 3rd and 4th place because of the time bonuses.
But throwing in that hill and the spectators that rock up down there now makes it every bit a continental race. It makes this one of the best races in the world now, and it's become a classic race. But for the riders, the pressure is on to show what they have in the legs in January.
Putting the finish at the top of Old Willunga Hill has completely changed the race. Obviously, we talk about Simon Gerrans, and I remember the great battle against Alejandro Valverde. What a battle that was going into the final day. It was all going to be decided on the sprint bonuses on the last day. But what it's done is it's made a classic finish to a classic race.
Gerrans has gone, Valverde is after him, you won't catch Gerrans. Simon Gerrans drives home towards the line, he might actually. We still have to go left around this corner. Valverde has got him on the edge here, this was the story. Alessandro Valverde takes it on the line. He beats Simon Gerrans on the line.